I'm Tracey Cleantis, and I'm a never giver upper. This is the part where you say, "Hi, Tracey."
Hi, Tracey.
Hey, thanks. This was a pre-existing condition for me. I had the never giving up kind of nature prior to beginning my infertility journey, cycle, battle, pick your language. It was a part of our culture, part of my family, part of the self-help books that I read, part of what Oprah told me. If you want something enough, if you work hard enough, if you create a vision board enough, if you read The Secret enough, if you just want it enough, you can make it happen. And I was a person who believed that. In my life, that had been true. I'd worked hard, I went to school, I made things happen, I set goals for myself, and I managed to get from point A to point B, and it felt kind of pretty good. I liked it. And when I was 35 and decided that it was time for me to have a child, I took that never give up mindset to that process. And I ignored everything. I ignored the statistics. I didn't know the statistics. I look at those numbers and I think, what was I doing? And I spent a whole lot of money. I spent $100,000 trying to have a child. I did 21 rounds of IUI, about half of those with injections, and 4 full rounds of in vitro. When that wasn't working, I did everything else I could think of because I can't give up, right? I went to, and let me just say this, I'm not a person to do these kind of things in other areas of my life, but desperate times, desperate measures. I went to Maori healers and gave them envelopes full of cash. I hired a feng shui guy to come and look at the family circle in my home and tell me my couch was in the wrong place, and if I could just move it, maybe I would get pregnant. And then I would turn to infertility message boards, like they were pronouncements from Moses. If Fertile Myrtle in Minnesota at 41 had managed to get pregnant, I read her words like they were Mount Sinai. Okay, 2 shots of Robitussin, pumpkin seeds, yams, and my feet up in the air for 30 minutes after sex. Done. In order to maintain this never give up idea, which I think was first a famous quote by Churchill, never, never, never give up, which may work well in war, but it's lousy for infertility treatment. You have to do a whole lot of denial. You have to ignore a whole lot of reality. You have to live in a world of illusion and fantasy and omens and, oh, maybe, it's close to my father's birthday and it's Christmas, or somebody just gave me a seahorse, or this Snapple bottle said this. I mean, it was like crazy. I looked for signs everywhere, and if you look, you can make signs that don't exist. I sort of believe that those who are on this path, this endless, never-ending cycle, are sort of in the myth of Sisyphus. Do you guys remember AP English, or were you all napping? In Greek mythology, Sisyphus was the guy who pissed off Zeus, which is not something you want to do. And Zeus punished Sisyphus for his wrongdoing by making him roll this rock up to the top of the hill and almost get there. Guess what happens? It goes back down. He's got to start all over, and this is exactly with infertility. Whatever we've done the month before doesn't matter. It doesn't carry over. We don't get the benefit. It's a really difficult myth, and one that needs to be challenged. I ignored my doctors, I ignored statistics, I ignored my belief system. I grew desperate. But there was this kind of infertility prenup that I'd engaged in. I don't know how it happened. I would say grace, miracle, something. But the day before I first went for my first in vitro, this voice came to me and said, at some point, if this doesn't work, you're going to stop. And I didn't know what that meant at the time because I was so sure that I was going to have that baby. And but every month I would say, is this the time? Is this the month? Are you ready to quit? No, 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 no. But then a day came. Where the answer was yes. I'm done. Thank you. I listened to that voice, and I tried no further. I'd like to end my time in front of you for this portion by turning to the immortal words of the very wise infertility expert W.C. Fields. If at first you don't succeed, try again, then quit. There's no point in being a damn fool about it. Thank you.